It's me, Flo, better known as T9A in Bavaria, perhaps soon Tabletop in Bavaria. And today I am talking about the December status update and sneak peek of the 3.0, and then about the January update. And then I guess I'll have a surprise for you, a release date of the open playtest of it, or at least what I expect it to be. Well, is that a leak? No. I'll share with you what I found, announced somewhere on the ETC Discord, so I guess it's free to share. But now, first, get ready and start. Here we are again. Okay, let's have a look at the Road to 3.0, the December status. Okay, here it is. Well, okay, it starts out with some Christmas stuff and some general information, and then it gets to that the feedback has been taken in, the guidelines to port the armies into 3.0 have been delivered, and the goals. Liz, you remember some? Here, yeah, I talked about some. I think it was in episode 2 and in episodes, yeah. So the next step is the process toward a public playtest version. Well, internal playtest started. So there were some things which which the team wanted more feedbacks than only through the internal playtesters, and so they decided to share it. What is it? Well, let's have a look. That's it. Not a leak. That's a spoiler. Okay, it was the topic of declaring charges. Okay, well, of course, it's not everything of the route is here, only the key principles of it, because there are very likely some corner and round cases who have to be made more clearer and so on. But basically, it's a general idea. This, of course, has to be refined and put into crystal clear sentences to make sure that shenanigans or unintended stuff is not happening. But basically it is that to declare a charge, you select one of your units that doesn't already declare a charge this phase and doesn't engage in combat. Of course, well, yeah, okay. Or that isn't shaken. Yeah, good. Declare which enemy unit it will try to charge. For that, well, there are some conditions. Well, of course, you have to see the unit, and it must be possible to complete the charge against the enemy. An example, it has to be within the charging maximum potential range, and there must be enough room to move the charging unit into base contact. See move charges for details. Well, nothing new. That was it in 2.0. Okay, but what's next? The reaction? Okay, well, after charge declared, the unit must immediately perform a charge reaction, and, well, of course it's hold. Yeah, that's what it was. You stay, and, yeah. Then flee, okay. A unit then collects the charge. Okay, only one per phase, and only if not engaged in combat, so multiple time fleeing, I guess. Pivot to face directly away of the center, and flee move. Okay, then after the flee move has been completed, I guess it becomes shaken. Yeah, then each unit that has declared a charge against the shaken unit takes a command test. Well, yeah, if successful, the unit may declare a charge against another unit. Okay, what's new? Well, some explanations. Okay. Well, you notice something is missing. Stand and shoot. That's not gone from the game, but it has moved. Well, in third edition, it will be a model rule that is given to specific units and specific weapons. So not everyone who has a shooting weapon will be able to stand and shoot. Being able to stand and shoot will be more a special thing and less about rolling lots of mostly meaningless dice and need for measuring ranges to see if you are allowed to stand and shoot. An example is a small step towards slightly faster gameplay, one of many small steps. But fear not, there will be plenty of changes to shooting, especially handheld weapons, which will compensate for this loss. Okay. And if you read even more carefully, you notice another small change. There's no longer any restrictions on the number of times you can redirect a charge. Well, that was a restriction that didn't really serve an important purpose. It only added complexity and arguably created somewhat gamey situations with double flee moves. Now every flee reaction is the same. If it flees, you may redirect. No exceptions. Of course, that means you'll have to make that comment test, or what will it be? Yeah, before that. But at least you get the chance. Some of you might wonder what a comment test is, but that, I'm afraid, is a topic for another day. I think something about that was already told in one of the earlier things. But yeah, then let's move on to move charges. After charge and charge reaction have been declared and resolved, charging units will now attempt to move into combat. Okay, now rolling charge range. Roll d6 plus 4 and add the unit's charge range. Okay, so it's different. Currently it's d6 or d3 maximized and advanced. Okay. So d6 plus 4, so basically champion always 4 is baked in and basically always 5. So always a charge rate, I guess it might be equal to the old advanced rate, I hope. So for example, dwarves have always a minimum charge rate of 8 inch and others of more. Okay. So if the range is greater, equal to or greater than the distance, yeah, then you charge. Boom. Otherwise, you fail. And you perform a failed charge move. Well, okay. The charge range roll have been tweaked. Well, 2d6 have been replaced by d6 plus 5. Why? Well, a number of advantages. It removes extremes. You never roll less than 5 and you never roll higher than 10. Yeah. So basically gain a bit more of board space, I guess. And a few things and a few things are more reliable. Okay, good. On the lower end, charge rolls being minimum 5 means players are not getting screwed by unlucky poor charge rolls, or at least fewer times. Yeah. And I guess champions won't give, if they stay, won't give for a minimum charge range 4. Yeah. And it removes the removal of extremes at the high end rolls, 11 plus and 12 plus, so on. 12 plus, only 12. We believe will lead to help increase engagement and offensive play, because units are able to get slightly closer to each other. Risk-free. Yeah, okay. So they can position them where they have more offensive options. The shoving, pushing into red range, running past front arcs and so on can be prepared more, moving to where open and can't escape and so on. Okay. The probabilities for making charges become easier with d6. And the charge range rolls around 6 till 12 or fairly 6 to 10 or fairly similar to second edition. Overall charges becomes a bit easier to do in this range, more likely at very short distances, and of course completely impossible at 11 and 12. And that holds true for Swift Stride also, by the way. Yeah. You know, that is somewhat we know that is a bit controversial. We want you to ask to keep an open mind and try things out and so on. Yeah, well, basically, less options of allowing the opponent to be lucky by standing on 11 plus, and more mobility, more shooting, more getting into shooting range and stuff and so on. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess it's a good idea. It says at least a guy who has a Kingdom of Aquitaine army somewhere lying around in a cellar, and who has several hundred models of with shooting weapons of several armies. So yeah, but I wasn't involved, so it's not my fault. So charge, move, and align. Okay, we'll start with establishing in what arc the target unit is. That's the center of the charging unit's front face is located in. Okay, not anymore checking more of this, and so on. It's at center of the front facing. Okay, so facing that corresponds to this arc as the target. A charge move is then resolved. Move forward any distance, single wheel, limit maximum of 90, and so on. And only consider the unit's front facing for the unit during this move until after the align have been completed. It must move into contact with the intended target. The charging unit front facing against the facing of the target that was established as the target and the charge was declared. Okay. Once the charging unit touches its target performs an align move. Well, this is done by picking up the unit and placing it back on the board aligned with the target unit in a way that keeps the models that contact each other in contact and maximizes enemy models in base contact. Well, of course, there will be some details and prioritizations and stuff, but basically, well, no more the positioning oneself in a way that only gets a few models in contact, so on. No more movement changing stuff. Yeah, no more need for special geometry. Okay, well, okay, a new way to perform the line move is tested. Well, because of course there are always ways to abuse it with aligning or not. Second edition, we tried to use blocked paths to control and minimize gamey stuff. That fixed some problems, but still many gamey moves were left. And that leaves one player feeling cheated. Also, it's probably one of the rules most oftenly played wrong. Well, Fujin, the man himself, has even seen judges on NTC gets this one wrong, so I guess it might be a bit too complicated. Well, when I play it, I'll always ask Eisenheinrich. And then he takes a look and says, Flo, you're doing it wrong. Then I don't try to do it that way. Okay, so we wanted to reconsider align moves for third edition. Well, what we have here is something that doesn't just put more new band-aids into the align system, but instead rethinks the foundation. After ironing out some tweaks during the fall, we have reached something that looks promising. No more pivoting around, point of contact when aligned. Instead, we pick up the charging unit and place it back down, perfectly aligned. There are a bunch of details and caveats to this, of course, and there's a reference to an appendix. We are also this described in long details. The friend's manual is our plan for having and eating the cake. What? Well, we can have a reasonably short and digestible main rulebook, frozen for years in a nice printable format, and we can have the rules crystal clear and without ambiguity. The way we achieve this by having a core rulebook, so simple, short and frozen, and I guess readable and nice. That's intended to be possible to read from start to finish to learn the game. And next to this core rulebook, we will have our reference manual. This is a copy of the core rulebook, but with additional details in many places that cover corner cases, the most complex rules, and so on. This book would not be frozen, but instead updated maybe once a year or so to cover newly found ambiguities and such. And it's not intended to be read from start to finish. Also, I suspect some of you still will. And I definitely will. Instead, it's intended to be used to look up complex situations when they arise during a game. Well, they're asking for feedback, and well, for me, the most interesting, promising thing is two sorts of manual rulebooks. One, a core one, easily readable, easily digestible, easily to start, and one in the learner with adding the corner cases and stuff. And something about the new line movement. When I played, I think in 7th or 8th edition, at the start, a lot of people I played with always thought it was like that. They thought, oh, okay, they contact, and now they slide over for maximum contact. Well, okay, sliding over is something different, but yeah, you get it. A lot of people, at least in casual play, did that. Oh, I get in contact now, I maximize, boop. Anyway, so now I guess something which seems to be intuitive for I learned the rules by heart guys becomes, or at least is tested, to become the correct thing. So I guess it should help some too. Now, let's take a look at the next month, at January. Okay, so it's a bit smaller, I guess. Well, okay, GDT is still working on transitioning the books. They have feedback has been taken in from GDT and playtesting teams. Things are going to change. Things are heard of. I guess I can't repeat it too much. If you ran into was it December or January league, well, have fun with that. Good with that outdated stuff. I guess the things you're mostly saying, what's that? What? How can they do that thing? Well, may I tell you something? This has been changed. So, if you play with the leaked book, I'm sorry. It's outdated. Won't help you to adjust. So, but there will be some spoilers. Okay. Well, basically the thing is things are tested, and if they aren't liked, they're tweaked, and if the tweaking doesn't work, there's always the possibility to fall back on the way things were done in 2.0. So if something is not a really good improvement to 2.0, well, why should we use something who's worse? Yeah, but if something is a real improvement toward over 2.0, then why should we use something which was worse? Yeah. So, the spoilers. Okay, well, I guess there's something here, and that's the public playtest version of 3.0 will be with you in summer. And to be clear, in summer 2024. So, well, not shortly, but relatively shortly after the balance patch, which I guess used to come out February, March, and start a middle somewhere in the sand in the past. So it will be. Oh, you're asking me if I can't give you a more detailed time? You remember me promising you a real date? Well, it's not me who gave you the date. It's out there. I think it was also meant to be given out. So let's have a look into the ETC Discord. Okay, well, it was told that in summer it will be, but the public playtest, but, well, T9A management, of course, talks to people playing T9A and who's better to talk with than the ETC chairman and the ETC captains to find out how to align things best, that not too big things take away the brush from each other. So the thing is that very likely on July the 25th, the 3.0 public playtesting release will happen, and that there will be a presentation and a question and answer session during the ETC event. And, well, as I plan to be there, guess who will, unless being ill, unless being physical forced to not do it, make a live streaming from that Q&A session. Yeah, it's me.